Hello, beloved listeners, and welcome to Snake People at the Movies, film criticism by people who actually like film. Join us as we dive into movies we love, movies we respect, and movies we wish we could unsee. It's the podcast where we talk about growing up and living queer, nerdy, and depressed online and at the cinema. From the kids who are with you till the end of the line, it's Sneople at the Movies. I'm Ezra.
And I'm Matty.
And this is a call-out post for Helena, who has callously abandoned us to go have a life, or whatever. We still love you, it's okay.
She's in fucking Canada or some shit, and we don't love her, actually, because she should be here.
She literally left the country.
To get away from what we are about to unleash.
Yeah, exactly. So today on Sneople the Movies, we have the promised follow-up to our Endgame episode, which we are affectionately, informally titling the Marvel Cinematic Universe Bitch Fest / Extravaganza.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, like, because, look, we love the MCU. I mean, well...
but begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly, yeah. Like, we definitely both have kind of a love-hate relationship with the goddamn thing. Also, like, it's 22 fucking movies long. You can't expect me to have one unified opinion on the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually a really good point. That there's 22 movies in the series, and the idea is I'm supposed to think that all of them are good? I can't name 22 good movies right now, if you asked me to.
Yeah, like, it's coming up with 22, like, uncomplicatedly good movies, even ones that don't have anything to do with one another. I think my brain would just short out.
Right, so, yeah, there's some that are, there's much like Endgame, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah. I honestly kind of want to start with the bad.
All right, yeah, we'll start at a low point and go up. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's fun. Did we decide what the worst Marvel Cinematic Universe movie is?
Oh, we didn't. Hold on, let me get a list.
We have to, oh yeah, that's going to be important.
That's going to be a good reference point. I mean, I have a list in my head, but like...
My list in my head will result in me forgetting that certain Marvel movies exist, possibly entire superheroes. Because, yeah, I'm tired, and also I have sort of given myself permission to stop trying to care about Marvel content that I just don't actually care about, which has been really liberating. Because, like, I feel like that's the thing about the MCU, is that there's been so much effort, marketing effort, and sort of pressure to think of it as one unit, that in order to feel like a real fan, quote unquote, like you have to, there's been a lot of pressure to engage with all of it, whether or not you like specific elements of it. And that's like just such garbage, because there's like specific MCU films or arcs or characters that I'm super invested in, and I have always been super invested in, and then there are others that just sort of leave me cold. Not really because I think they're bad, they're just not my thing. And so the idea is like, oh, do you like Marvel movies? Is like, that's like asking me if I like, oh my god, my brain just shorted out.
Romantic comedies.
Yeah, it's like, it's like basically like asking me if I like an entire genre. The answer is sometimes.
I guess that for most people, the answer would be yeah. Like, they do like whole genres, but like that's not how we operate here at Sneople at the Movies. We see everything in shades of gray. So
yeah, unfortunately we do see everything in the MCU in shades of gray because the color correcting is so bad. Sorry.
Here's one thing I'll say, is that sometimes the color correcting is very good. Like, sometimes they have some very good saturation. Sometimes it's just like shit, and it's like, why is it so good and so bad sometimes? A lot of, like, a way higher than you want it to be proportion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe genuinely looks like it was filmed in an overcast Walmart parking lot. I'm looking at you, Avengers 3, aka Captain America Civil War, which I straight up have called Avengers Civil War, like, accidentally on so many occasions. That's not even me trying to be snide. That's literally just me going, oh yeah, that was an Avengers movie, right? Hawkeye was in it. That means it was an Avengers movie. Maybe we want to start there, actually. Like, do we want to start with, like, Cap 3 is actually Avengers 3?
Yeah, we're not asserting that Captain America 3 Civil War is the worst Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. That's not what I'm saying here.
No.
We might be Thor the Dark World, but I was high the only time I watched Thor the Dark World. Can I say that on this podcast?
Yeah, you can. We say fuck a lot on this podcast. I think you could be like, I did legal drugs while watching that movie.
Yeah. That movie was just, like, boring. Although, to be fair, I thought Civil War was pretty fucking boring. I don't know.
Here's the thing. So I rewatched Civil War with my parents recently because they're doing a road to Endgame because my stepmom doesn't really care about this stuff, but she kind of wants to see Endgame. And this ties into the point where it's like, you feel like you gotta see all of them. And I'm trying to guide her into being like, here are the ones you can really skip. Like, these are the ones you've already seen. These are the ones that are going to be important. But she's at the point, she's like 7 movies out, and she is burned out. And I'm like, if you've seen them, don't see them again. And she's like, I liked Ragnarok and Black Panther. I'm like, as you should. They were good. But, like, at this point, like, just skip them. You're just trying to survive now. That's it. I'm like, you don't need to... Yeah, that's it, though. She's just trying to not die.
That is 1,000% reasonable. I was just trying to make a, like, in the Game of Thrones, you win or you die joke, and it failed completely and utterly.
In the MCU rewatch, you either live or you skate or you die, dude. You skate or you die.
Skate or you die. Yeah, you zone out during the boring bits or you die. It's a matter of self-preservation.
Yeah. Basically, especially because she doesn't really care about, like, the action shit. That's not really her style, so she was like, there's just so much of it. I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry.
I can just imagine her, I can see that. I can just hear her going, there's just so much punching.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's like, there isn't as much in Black Panther, and I'm like, there's literally large portions of that movie where there's story and fighting at the same time.
Yeah, which is a big improvement over story, fighting! Story, fighting, which is, yeah, anyway.
That's true.
Holy fuck, no! Age of Ultron! Matty, I forgot about the existence of Age of Ultron.
Oh no, Age of Ultron is the worst one. Yeah, Age of Ultron is... I think arguably the point where things started going all south. Things just started going real bad after that. It just introduced so many elements that would carry on and, like, just fuck shit up. And it sucks. It's like everything. Where did Avengers go wrong? Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Goodbye and good night.
It is. It's just. It's a poorly structured movie. It throws about 17 times too much new content at the viewer. It feels like they half-assed like 5 different movies over the course of one film.
Wasn't Ultron like Tony's fault? I have to look up fucking Ultron because I don't remember what his whole steez was.
Fucking he wrote. I think the idea is it's one of those things where it's like he wrote the code that became Ultron. So it's like, it's kind of like on Star Trek Next Generation where like lore being a piece of shit is like sort of Data's dad's fault, but like you can't blame it entirely on him. He just wrote the source code and you can tell because you're like, Data's a good person and his twin brother is a bad person. So, like, it's sort of, like, his, oh my god, I'm blanking on his, oh my god, not important, wrong podcast episode, doesn't matter, whatever, somewhere my dad is glaring at me and doesn't know why. My parents are longtime Star Trek fans, and I think they're probably secretly embarrassed that I can't remember Data's dad's name, but also they don't actually listen to this podcast, so it's fine.
Data's dad, that's the important part.
Yeah, Data's dad. So I think the idea is that Tony built Jarvis, and Jarvis is fine. Tony also sort of built Ultron, and Ultron is a piece of shit, so it's like not really Tony's fault, but I think he was also, I mean, he's the one who had the idea to be like, oh, what if we like just like conduct surveillance on the entire planet to like neutralize threats before they can be like that fucking Minority Report movie or
no
whatever.
Bruh, that was Cap 2.
Yeah, but it's the same idea. That was why we got Ultron, was because Tony had that idea, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't think so.
That's why he had all of the robot suits? Okay, so you can... Look,
no, Tony was just, like, paranoid.
Okay, so...
Oh, no, wait, hold on. Nope, you're correct.
The fact that I've seen almost all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I've consumed an embarrassing amount of fan fiction for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I pay attention. Also, just like, I'm a nerd. I am a nerd about a lot of different things. I hold on to this kind of information. I like lore. The fact that I can't remember clearly, like, definitive plot points from these gargantuan blockbuster films, like, it's not great. And I feel like it's frustrating because there's been this whole big thing, the idea of doing a road to Endgame, and that all 22 of these movies represent quote-unquote phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's been like 7 different story climaxes that then didn't go anywhere. I mean, you've had these massive plot points. Everything to do with everything that happened in Winter Soldier, everything that happened in fucking Age of Ultron, even almost everything that happened in Civil War. Like, you got a little bit of like a reconciliation between Steve and Tony in Endgame, but it's like, you have these gigantic explosions of plot and story and character and all this stuff, and then it never fucking goes anywhere. And that's like I feel like that's at the heart of my like ongoing beef with feeling like the Marvel Cinematic Universe like gets my hopes up and then lets me down. And it's every time I'm like, oh, I'm super engaged, and then it kind of just like fizzles out and then picks up something new and shiny.
Not to be that guy, but this is exactly what being a comic book fan is like.
Okay, well, and that's totally fair, because, like, I'm not really a comic... So if that's a phenomenon of the source material, then I am inclined to give it a little bit more of a pass, because it's like, that's just how comics are.
It's not good, though. Like, that's not... They shouldn't get a pass, because that's bad. Comics are like that because the idea is they can't evolve. They have to be at a blank starting point almost always.
Yeah. Because
people are going to be newly engaging in the material all the time.
Every episode has to be a pilot episode.
Yeah. And if they change and evolve, people are going to, like, quote unquote get bored, or it's going to be predictable, or like, this is just, comics is like this. Nobody is a steady character. And it's the fucking worst. And the MCU should not. But the problem is the MCU isn't doing that. Like, they're not... Every movie doesn't have to be the first movie you see. They're very clearly trying to create arcs. And then they're not. Don't even get me started on people's character arcs, because I'm just gonna go nuts. I'm just gonna go ape shit.
I mean... On the other hand, consider this, Matty. This is our podcast where we get to bitch about whatever we want. So we're going to, like, crack open that can of worms, but we're not going to rip the whole top off and then, like, beat ourselves to death with it.
Get ready for the next 45 minutes, which is going to be my, like, annotated 15-page essay about, and this is the title, They Done Did Steve Dirty. Subtitle, Why the Fuck They Do That.
Oh my god, co-authored by me, because I have just like...
God, because God's on our side.
God is on our side. Like, the amount of beef that I have with this is like, like the like ranch output of the entirety of Nebraska.
That was a good joke, dude.
They raise beef cattle in Nebraska, right? Am I mixing up my, like, agricultural output regions? I probably
don't know. Maybe they don't, actually. I'm from Oregon. I don't know.
I'm from Washington. No, it's cattle feed in Nebraska.
Anyway.
Pick a ranching state It's like that. That's how much beef I have. Anyway,
where were we?
So we were yelling.
Oh, Age of Ultron is the worst one.
Well, Age of Ultron is the worst one, and then so like other low points of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll get back to our like ever burning rage about Steve Rogers' mockery of a character arc in a minute.
I would even say like Thor. Everybody's got a weird. All of them. Like Jaboy, Thor, his character arc.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were like, Thor is one of the worst Marvel movies. I was like, Matty, I'm moving back. I was like, who are you and what have you done with my best friend? Like,
No. I'm saying Thor's character arc is also like
that is,
super
yeah.
frustrating.
Thor. I feel like, unfortunately, like Thor. The thing is that like Thor and Steve were the two characters who suffered the most from tonal whiplash between their solo films and the team up movies. Like the way who they are in the role that they each fulfill in the like ensembles of their solo films is very different than the role they fulfill in the ensembles of the team up movies. And it's because they're both the heroes of their own stories, but when you get to the Avengers, Tony is like unavoidably, as they've structured it, always the hero, and they need Steve to be a foil for him in a way that doesn't really work the way that they've written Steve, and then they kind of don't know what to do with Thor. Like, I really just feel like the team-up movies have no idea what to do with Thor.
So he ends up being comedic relief.
Yeah, he ends up getting sort of, they go, I don't know, he's like funny, right? And you're like, well, I mean, kind of, but that's not really his like thing. He has a lot of, I mean, Thor is funny, but it's a different kind of humor, just like Steve is funny, but it's a different kind of humor. And I feel like because Iron Man has always been sort of the most consistently successful of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, and because it was like the first one, it became the brand that everybody associated with it, and therefore the tone of the Iron Man movies became the dominant kind of color in the palette going into the team-up films. And so everybody else's kind of styles become subordinate to that one, and that subordination does the most damage to Steve and Thor's characters.
Absolutely. I think one of the weak points is that they set up like Thor, Steve, and Tony as they were supposed to be. They were the three kind of headliners. They were like the first three heroes we saw. They were kind of they should have been the three legs of the stool, basically, that held up the Avengers. And what ended up happening is they didn't treat it like that was true. Like, they saw they had one headliner and they were like, well, we can't have three, even though we've definitely set up these movies as like we have three kind of main heroes. So they tried to have them set up as the rest of the team, but like they're not quite on the same level as the rest of the team because they get their own solo movies. And this comes in when you get other heroes as well. So they're doing this with Ant-Man, where like he has his own solo movies, but like he gets relegated to like very much the back seat, except for in Endgame, also known as Ant-Man 3.
Yeah, hey, now I can say people are like, oh, you haven't seen any of the Ant-Man movies? I'm like, well, I saw Endgame. Yeah,
you saw Ant-Man 3. My friend Katie made that joke, and I just lost my shit. I was like, shut up, don't say that. But you're not wrong, and I hate you.
I saw that tweet, and I genuinely dropped my phone in my bathroom sink.
God,
like, so I laughed so hard that I dropped my phone into my bathroom sink. Because she's 100% correct. And I gotta say, I haven't seen either of the... Oh yeah, this is the, like, disclaimer. Just, Matty has seen all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I have not seen... I haven't seen either of the Ant-Man movies, and I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but I think that's it. Yeah? I don't think I'm missing any other ones. I think it's just that I haven't seen either of the Ant-Man movies, and I haven't seen Guardians 2. Yeah, but they could very Like, you sort of, the way that it was set up, you felt like they were gonna lean into, the Thor, Steve, Tony kind of trifecta.
Trinity, yeah.
Yeah, which is, triangle's the strongest shape or whatever. But it's
no, this
true.
is like very much, fuck, we could have had a fucking like mind, like heart, soul kind of thing. We could have.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would have been so good.
Tony is Spock, Thor is Bones, and Steve is Kirk. I'm just saying.
God. That would have been so great.
And, like, yes, I will fight people because I can just hear people going, "Oh, Tony is clearly Kirk," and I'm like,
"No, he's not.
No,
he's the brain. He's the logical point. He doesn't believe what you're telling him unless you bring him proof where he sees it for himself. He's very empirical. Fuck you."
Yeah, he's an engineer. Fuck you.
I would argue that Steve is possibly the heart.
Okay, yes, Steve. Yeah, Steve.
I think that could go either way.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Steve and Thor could go either way, but Tony is Spock.
Tony is Spock, for sure. Anyway, briefly I wanted to go back to the point of, like, they're doing this now with, like, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man. All of them are, like, and Doctor Strange. We're all getting our own solo movies. And
Fuck, I forgot that there was an entire Doctor Strange movie. Like, I
sure
saw
was.
it. It actually was...
dude.
It was
alright.
Yeah, it was fine. Parts of it were actually really enjoyable. I utterly forgot about it.
I do too. That's the one I always miss.
Yeah.
But like they in Endgame and Infinity War not so much, but like Endgame, they had like no roles. They didn't set these people up who have solo movies are like they're trying to tell us like they have very important roles in this universe, and then like they're not using them. It's still kind of the Tony show. And it's like, well, now spoilers for Endgame, I guess. Like, spoilers for Endgame, so stop listening if you don't want to get spoiled for Endgame. I'm gonna give you a moment to stop listening. So Tony's fucking dead. So what are they gonna do now? Like, somebody's gonna have to step into that role, and I'm pretty sure they're possibly setting Peter up for it, but Peter's a literal child?
I'm gonna be so fucking annoyed if they are like, oh, yes.
I want it to be Black Panther so fucking bad. Or Captain Marvel.
Either one. I want them to interact, for one.
So bad, right? Oh, that would be so good.
Also, I'm gonna riot. If their whole shtick going forward is, like, Peter feeling like he has to live up to Tony's legacy or something and be like, yes, my surrogate dad. I'm like, Peter Parker already has parental figure guilt. Just because you didn't want to do Uncle Ben dying for the gazillionth time doesn't mean you get to weasel out of that, you fuckers. Like, he is not Stark Jr.
Yeah. I'm glad, actually, that they didn't do Uncle Ben dying for, like, the badillionth time.
As
like,
am I.
We done know that shit, but, like, also, like, he's not... That would just be so unsatisfying, because it would just be, like, nothing changes. Like, that's what Tony spent his whole life doing, was trying to live up to his father's legacy. Yeah. And he was supposed to be different from his dad. He was supposed to be, like... He didn't make the same mistakes. He grew out of that. And if they're like, oh, and now Peter feels like he has to live up to Tony's legacy, I'm like, no! Fuck the cycle! This sucks! But everybody knows Spider-Man. Everybody loves the Spider-Man.
But also, like, fucking...
We do love the Spider-Man, but also fuck you.
Don't get me wrong. I love Tom Holland. I love the Spider-Man. Look, I love Spider-Man Homecoming. I just did. I loved it drastically more than I thought I was going to. But I will say, on sort of a meta level, not the world's biggest fan of basically, like, so much of the stuff that makes Peter Parker able to superhero being Stark tech. I don't like that.
No, I rewatching Cap 3 when you realize that he comes from, like, I built all this shit myself in my, like, shitty New York apartment. It feels more Peter, because that's what Peter Parker is he's broke, he lives in a shitty apartment with his Aunt May who loves him very much, and, like, he gets bullied. He's an everyman, and like now he's an everyman who's got Stark tech, and that I don't know. It doesn't.
No, Peter Parker
it's fine, but
it's okay. But it's like, man, Peter Parker is sort of at originally so much more of a working class superhero.
Yeah, that's why everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's why everybody identifies with Spider-Man.
He actually could be anybody. Like everything that is
anybody could wear the mask.
Anybody, yeah, exactly. And literally anybody can wear the mask. All what you have to do is live up to the, if you're given an opportunity to do the right thing, you do it. And if you're presented with this crazy thing happening to you, you make the best of it and you do something good with it. Like, that's all that it takes to be Spider-Man. It doesn't take money. It doesn't take inheritance. It doesn't take power. Sometimes it takes a radioactive spider, but, whatever. That's just how comic book movie, that's just how comic books work. Spider-Man, anybody can imagine themselves as Spider-Man. You don't have to have any of the big long laundry list of things that makes Tony Stark Iron Man, or even Captain America,
or Thor, or Black Thor. He's like, of all of them, except maybe Captain Marvel, because what happened to Captain Marvel is a spaceship crashed, but she was still she still had some stuff that set her up to be in that place at that time. I could be walking down the street and see the wrong spider.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Moment of silence. Just think about how much we all love Spider-Man.
I mean, honestly, oh yeah, and also, Helena is actually gonna teleport back from Canada and kill us if we don't talk about the OG Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So, Helena, this one's for you. We're gonna take a brief moment to talk about the OG Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and also for me to admit that there's 2 entire ass Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield that I've never seen.
I have the first one on DVD.
Holy fuck, how did I never just grab that? Oh yeah, depression.
Yeah. Wow. No, I never saw the second one, actually. We should watch those at some time. I love Andrew Garfield. Should. He's just a fucking delight.
He's delightful, and I love Emma Stone, and I think that they were fairly well written and stuff.
Yeah, they were totally solid.
I would like to go back to a version of Spider-Man that is not beholden to Iron Man.
Yeah.
Just because I would.
I know for Helena, she wanted to say any superhero love she ever had started with those movies.
Yeah.
And mine started earlier, obviously. I remember distinctly being very little and getting into the Superman versus Batman argument with my older brother, which he's 9 to 10 years older than I am. I can't believe he was getting in this argument with this small child. But maybe I just thought it was an argument and he was just a good-natured conversation with this fetus. Anyway.
I mean, just based on who your older brother is, I feel like the second one is more likely.
I think that's significantly more likely, yes. He was indulging me.
Matty, you have been the, give me your address so I can come to your house and explain my passions, vibe, I just assume your entire life.
Yeah, I just care about some things very much.
I know this, and I love you, but I genuinely also was oh yeah, when we were growing up together, listeners, we didn't grow up together.
We sure didn't, no.
Maddie and I met when we were 20 and 21.
Yeah.
I just...
But God, what a whirlwind of years it's been. Yeah.
I just, I mentally Photoshop my... I often forget that I did not go to high school with Matty and Helena.
I know, it cracks me up because we went to high school in fucking Portland, Oregon. You went to high school in, Washington. I grew up in a
different state. I grew up in a different state, and yet I'm still, you're oh, remember that time in high school? I'm yeah, of course I know.
No, I don't. I wasn't there.
Never mind.
So...
God, we're the worst.
That's just her love started with those movies, and I have really fond memories of those movies too. They were that was some of the earliest, for our generation anyway, superhero movies. There were some Batman movies, but we probably wouldn't have been allowed to watch some of the Batman movies that were coming out when we were kids.
Me neither.
These were some of the early, kind of like 90s, early 2000s superhero movies that were coming out for, like, kids that weren't animated. Because there were animated ones.
That's an important distinction.
So, yeah, like, thank you. You guys, you started it. Oh, and also Fantastic Four, but we don't talk about that.
Oh man, okay, see, I haven't seen Fantastic Four, which is, like, actually fairly surprising.
They did 2 of those.
They did
2 of those.
And also, the most important thing about this is that the guy who plays
3,
Mr. Fantastic... No, they made 2, and then they did it again.
Yeah.
They were like, we fucked up, and they tried again with a different Fantastic Four, and it, like, still sucked, apparently, and I haven't seen that one either. Which is also a surprise, because I love Michael B. Jordan, and I love Jamie Bell, who's the Thing? Like, why is Jamie Bell the Thing? What are you doing? He's, like, a toothpick.
Well, yeah, anyway.
Like, no shade on Jamie Bell. Like, he's genuinely exceptional actor, and also he's, like, very attractive.
But he's also very small.
But he is a compact human being. Like, he is not a large man. And he turns into a large man made of rocks. I don't really understand how the Fantastic Four work.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly how it works. And he turns into he turns into the Thing. He turns into a very large man made of rocks.
God damn it. Anyway, so the really funny thing about the fact that I've never seen Fantastic Four or Fantastic Four... Is it called Fantastic Four 2? Because that just looks like Fantastic 42 Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I don't even care. I'm calling it that now.
I think it's... I was going to say, it's definitely the Rise of the Silver Surfer, which I remember because my dad and I both love Silver Surfer.
Oh, yeah, that's
why. And then the movie was bad. And we were both like, oh no!
Well, first of all, it's Chris Evans as the Human Torch, which
is
hilarious.
It's funnier because Michael B. Jordan then later goes on to fucking be in the MCU, so
God, fuck
that's the trick.
I hate it. My brain hurts. The guy who plays Mr. Fantastic is named Ewan Griffith. And he's the fucking star of the A&E Hornblower miniseries.
I was eating when you said that.
I'm so sorry.
And the shock that just went through my system caused me to choke.
Oh, Jesus.
God, is that why he looked so familiar when we were watching that?
Yes,
wow.
It's because he grew up to be the fucking Reed Richards.
He grew up to be Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, he grew up to be Mr. Rubber Bands, or whatever the fuck.
That's what we call him. That was his college nickname, Mr. Rubber Bands. Little did they know how prophetic it would be.
So this is a weird shout out. This is sort of like tangentially related shout out to Ewan Griffith because
thanks for the Hornblower miniseries.
The Horatio Hornblower miniseries is brilliant, and at some point I will be doing an episode that's just me yelling about men on boats.
Oh man, we love men on boats.
We sure do love men on boats.
Apologies in advance. So, Cap 2. I want to talk about Cap 2 real bad.
Our planning document for this episode has the header, what's the best MCU movie and why is it Cap 2? And
I'm right and I should say it.
Yeah, I fully and freely agree with that one. I would say, like, my, like, runners up are, like...
Let me pull up the list.
Black Panther is amazing. Like, Black Panther...
Ragnarok.
Right, it's like Black Panther, Ragnarok. Fuck all of you. I love the first Thor movie. And, like, it's honestly, the first Thor movie and the first Cap movie are great. They're just great.
They're very solid. They're very good, like, here's these motherfuckers. Now you know who they are kind of
and
movies.
They're very satisfying as standalone films. Like, if they had never made another... I mean, if they had never made it... Like, it would have been sad, but also, like, if you didn't know how good it could be with Cap 2 and Thor 3, they would have been satisfying as superhero films.
I know that you're not a big Guardians fan. Helena is. Guardians of the Galaxy also stands on its own very well. It's like, and like, you don't have to have watched any of the other MCU to watch Guardians. I prefer Guardians too because, like, bitch, it make me cry every time it's a found family in space. But, like...
I want to like Guardians of the Galaxy. And this is
I know.
This is one of those things where it's like, I am so super aggressively not harshing anybody's squee on this one. Like, I think it's totally fabulous that so many people love Guardians of the Galaxy, and, like, if Matty wants to talk about it, like, bro, go ahead. I'm just gonna, like, tap out because I don't have anything nice to say about it, and it's not really the movie's fault. It's just, like, fundamentally not my thing.
Yeah, it's not your style, and it's never been your style.
Yeah.
And, like, we just know that.
I genuinely find Chris Pratt to be, like, fucking insufferable. Sorry, everybody, that's my take up the compost alarm.
Well, Chris Pratt just fucking sucks, and we hate him.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because he plays so many characters that I like. I'm like, God, I just hate you so fucking much.
Amen.
He doesn't exist outside of those movies. He's kind of like, you know how Notch invented Minecraft, but he didn't because he doesn't exist anymore, and Minecraft just fell out of the sky?
Yeah.
That's what goes on with Peter Quill, is Chris Pratt doesn't exist. Peter Quill just looks like some dude who doesn't exist.
Or like how Johnny Depp died in 2009.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel about it. God, Chris Pratt, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I'm gay and stronger than you, so don't try any shit.
That is very true.
So those would be kind of my other top movies. I want to say I did really like Captain Marvel. I felt like it was a super solid movie. I just didn't know if it was as much of a, like, standout compared to a couple of the other ones. So it's like like high up on the list.
I feel like the stuff about Captain Marvel that I really liked was sort of almost more like I liked it because I felt catered to, rather than, like, judging it to be a well put together film. Like, it did a lot of things that I like on sort of like an id level. Captain Marvel felt a little bit more like what kids on the internet used to call id fic. Mm-hmm. Where you're like, does this have a whole lot of, like, hashtag literary merit? Probably not. Does it, like, feed my base storytelling desires? You're damn right it does.
This is not necessarily a fair comparison, but it's kind of like Jupiter Ascending, where it's like, is this good? Probably not. Can I tell? No.
Yeah, you're like, it's like, can I tell? Can I tell? Oh, I'm sorry, I was having way too much fun cackling my ass off and shoving popcorn in my mouth while Sean Bean talks about how bees can smell royalty, and also somebody tries to use a like menstrual pad as a band-aid by sticking it sticky side down to a wound.
Oh, God. So good. Anyway.
Shout out to the Wachowskis for living their goddamn dream. You are an inspiration to us all.
Someday we'll do a Jupiter Ascending episode.
God, yeah, we should get drunk and do a Jupiter Ascending episode.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the best MCU movie is Cap 2.
It's Cap 2.
I mean,
and
also,
here's why.
And here's why. Also, oh my god, I just would like... God, Brie Larson was hot in Captain Marvel.
She's just so stunning.
She's beautiful and I'm gay. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Congrats on her lesbian haircut in Endgame. Like, I'm so proud of her for coming out and getting married and adopting her daughter. So...
Who the hell is Bucky? You the
hell is Bucky. I think one of the things that was so good about Cap 2, and this is what happened in the aborted version of this episode, we talked about, like, the satisfying relationships and character arcs that both Steve and Nat get. Like, Nat is one of the characters where they're like, I don't know, woman? Anyway. And it sucks, and it's so fucking annoying, but she gets some really great, like, subtle work with Steve, and their relationship is so important to me. And it's so good. I think what I said at the time was, like, Nat spends so much of her life kind of, like, adjusting her personality to fit the people around her. And she does that with Steve, obviously, because she does it with everybody. And, like, she's like, that's my coworker, whatever. And she's like, he's sad and needs a friend, so, like, I'm going to be funny, and I'm going to try to set him up on dates, and I'm like, I'm not going to take this very seriously. And then she realizes, like, that's not what he wants. I mean, it is sort of what he wants, because he's sad and doesn't have any friends, but, like, he wants someone he can trust above all else, and he wants someone who he views as a partner. And she's like, oh, me?
He's like, he doesn't need her to try to substitute a bunch of things that she isn't instead of her. He's like, no, like, the real you is actually worth investing in to me. You don't have to try to give me what you think I want.
And that's, like, such a weird moment for her, where she's like, okay. I just think of the scene in the bedroom where she's like, you risked your life for me? Like, how would you have trusted that, like, I would have done that? Like, would you trust that I would have done that for you? And he's like, I would now. And the look on her face is like, she's like, what? you what? We what? Oh my god! It's real sweet. Their relationship's really nice.
And their relationship has a chance to... It has breathing space. And this is something that I brought up enjoying about Endgame, was that I felt like there was time built in for emotions to... Like, for people to react to stuff. For things to... For people to take the hit, like, that's what they call it. That's what, like, all of my acting teachers always called it, was that, like, you want to see somebody find out a piece of information or hear something, and you want to see it hit them. And whether that's one reaction or, like, a combination of reactions, you know, like the no-face journeys joke, but, like, sometimes you do want to see the cocktail of emotions that something incites in somebody. And I feel like Cap 2 does that. It is willing to take a second to linger on faces and let people actually, like, act instead of just information dumping all the time.
It does a lot of show don't tell in a way that's very effective. Like, it is a lot of what we are pulling isn't necessarily something that is textual. Though some of it is. A lot of it is just body language. And they also have a very solid... ScarJo and Chris Evans have a good, like, chemistry together. And not necessarily, like, a romantic chemistry, but you absolutely believe that these are people who work well together and are comfortable together and fit into each other's space very well. And then also learn to also have an emotional intimacy as well.
Yeah. It's a satisfying... It's a very satisfying rapport, and it's all the more satisfying because you go from Steve in Cap 1 not, you know, having these emotional connections and this rapport with people, and then you get to the Avengers and he's so on the wrong foot, out of place, and the movie kind of goes out of its way to keep him from fitting in. And then you swing back around to Cap 2, and it's like, oh man, like, yeah, he has a place where he fits, he's building a life, and he is able to make connections with people he's just met. Like, he spends the whole of the first Avengers movie just sparking all this friction with people that he meets for the first time. And then you turn around, you have Cap 2, and, like, fucking, he's, you know, head over big dumb bisexual heels for Sam Wilson after passing him twice on a run. Like,
I'm thinking about that post that someone made on the Blue Hell site that's like, Steve's running pattern in this doesn't make any sense, and I can prove why it doesn't make any sense, and the only logical conclusion is because he kept running past this extremely handsome man, and was like, this reminds me of when I had feelings in 1945. I'll have to find it and send it to you. Have you seen this post?
Oh, I have. I absolutely have. Thank you to...
I'm going to send it to the group chat again.
Thank you to Tumblr user Matty's going to find out in a second for proving that Steve Rogers was just running in a way that made absolutely no sense purely for the purpose of flirting with Sam Wilson, which is a totally reasonable decision because have you seen Anthony Mackie lately?
I'll fight it. I think it's Sashade.
It probably is. It's probably Rave Sashade who
it definitely is. I just wasn't sure if that's how you say it.
Yes.
Anyway, so Cap 2.
but yeah, I mean, and it feels, the scope of Cap 2 is manageable from a storytelling point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of I think that for me, it does one of the, it strikes a really satisfying balance between, you know, these people are dealing with events of global geopolitical import, but also are very human and are feeling things on a very human level, and the interplay between those two things is interesting and well executed. Bucky Barnes is both, you know, you know, on some level, like a metaphor for the phenomenon of prisoners of war and all of these things, that it's analogous to like child soldiers and people being forced to do things, and how responsible is he, and how, like, who are the people who are controlling him, you know, if he's the puppet, who's the puppeteer, and all this stuff. But he's also Steve's best friend who he thought he watched die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is both of those things at once, and Steve has to grapple with, he's both Steve Rogers, who, you know, like, loved Bucky Barnes, whether or not you think they were banging, whatever, you know, somebody who was like, you were my childhood best friend and my brother, and is also Captain America who has to fight the Winter Soldier. That's an interesting thing to be presented with, where you are forced to look at both the man and the shield, or the man and the mask at the same time, and you don't get to see them as separate. I really love Cap 2 a lot, everybody. It's just a really good fucking movie. Also, Sam, Steve, Nat as an OT3 was fucking god tier.
Okay, I was always OT4, Sam, Steve,
that was
Nat,
also
Bucky.
Extremely good. Adding Bucky in was also extremely, extremely, extremely good, especially if you wrote it so that Natasha had, like, encountered the Winter Soldier before in, like, a complicated and charged way. That was excellent, both
right.
that OT3 and that
in
OT4.
a sexy way.
In a sexy way is what I mean. Yeah, no, I mean in a sexy way. So shout out to all of the Hugo-nominated fanfic writers on OT3 who produced content for those ships, because
on what website again?
And I love you. On, what did I say?
You said OT3?
Son of a bitch. Anyway, I have priorities, and they're threesomes.
OT3.
Yeah,
OT3.
on Archive of Our Own.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good. And they're all great characters. They're just all really interesting, and they all bring a lot of presence. It's good. Friends, it's good.
It's just solid. It's just solid writing. It's functional. It's not out of control. It's not too nuts, but it's like just solid piece of work. And the plot line reflects and mirrors Steve very well.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is like, I just came up with this right now as I'm talking. But, like, does the global crisis reflect the hero? And the global crisis is freedom and personal freedom. And where do we draw the line to keep people safe? And that is such a Steve Rogers thing. Holy shit.
Yep.
And Cap 3, like, almost does that. Like, they have, like, the Accords is very much, like my, like, personal freedom and, like, where do we draw the line? But it's kind of, like, who watches The Watchmen? And Steve's like, I watch The Watchmen. And Tony's like, who watches you? And Steve's like, I do that too. But it kind of just fell apart. It it didn't really go anywhere. Like, they have a whole bunch of, like, what's the overarching global crisis? Bitch, we're not really sure.
Well, yeah, that's definitely part of it, is like, they really want to do all this stuff with Avengers, with Civil War, and it just all kind of feels, they didn't lay the groundwork for it. Like, that's why it didn't work for me, is that, one, it felt wildly out of place because they were like, oh, it's a Captain America movie. It's like, well, it's not really. It's an Avengers movie. Otherwise, like,
Hawkeye's there. It's an Avengers movie.
Why the fuck is Tony there? Like, he wasn't in Cap 2. He wasn't in any of the Thor movies. Like, why the fuck is he suddenly there? Once again, no offense if you are a super big Tony stan. I love and respect you.
It's just one of those things where, like, they built it as an ensemble movie. That is not a movie that features the growth and the more, like, the moral struggle of Steve Rogers. It is something that features everybody. Multiple people have, like, a struggle with the global crisis. This is not a movie about Steve. It's just not. It's not a movie about Steve. It's a movie about the group. It's an Avengers movie. And it's like one of the better Avengers movies, and it's the worst Cap movie because it's not a good Cap movie. Yeah. It's not about him. And, like, I would say fight me on this, but literally everybody I've brought this up to was like, oh, no, you're right. Justice for Cap 3 that doesn't exist.
Yeah. This is the GoFundMe for the two of us to write a fucking script for an actual Cap 3 movie.
Yeah. Except now it's gonna be Sam, but, like, that's fine. I'll write a Cap 3 movie for Sam.
Yeah.
Love that dude.
I'm so hyped for that. I will absolutely write one of those with fucking Sam and then Bucky, like, popping up and being like, hey,
I'm trying to do good now, but I don't know how to.
Remember that time we were stuck in a tiny German car together?
And I asked you to move your seat up and you didn't? Good times.
It's like the only thing I don't remember. I remember more of Civil War than I do of Age of Ultron. Thank God. But, like, I also just, like, have blocked out large swaths of that movie because I kind of don't care. But I sure do remember all of the bullshit with them in the car because it was fucking hysterical. And then I just remember all of the posts that were like, at what point did Bucky Barnes realize that he was fighting a literal child? Peter's like 15 tops? Like, what?
I think he's 15 or 14, yeah.
Yeah, like, we don't, and, like, oh god, I don't need to go down that fucking rabbit hole again, because everything that I am gonna say has been said. All of this hashtag discourse has already happened, but I just like to laugh about thinking about when Bucky figured out that Spider-Man was actually fucking 14. And we'll never know because they promptly were like, we don't know what to do with Bucky as a character, and then pulled out, like, the big comedy eraser, and we're just, like, panicked, like, erasing shit, like, he gotta go and cryo freeze, bye. Which, like...
Anyway.
I'm bored. Let's talk about Thor, because, I love Thor. And all of those people who are like, like, the only Thor movie that understands Thor is Ragnarok. You can all meet me behind the Arby's so I can gently explain to you that everything, like, that a number of the things that you love about Thor Ragnarok would not have existed without the first Thor movie. One of which is the fact that Sir Kenneth Branagh absolutely looked at all of those pictures of Tom Hiddleston in very tight leather pants and went, yeah.
I mean, he also worked with him on,
oh, hey, does anybody want to hear the story of how Kenneth Branagh is responsible for Tom Hiddleston's career? Of course you do.
Please tell me.
So, Ken Branagh goes to see the Donmar Warehouse production of Othello, which stars Chiwetel Ejiofor and Ewan McGregor, and relative unknown and fairly fresh out of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, Tom Hiddleston as Cassio, giving a performance that is a take on Cassio that's actually like fairly unusual compared to the way that Cassio has been played in a lot of major productions recently. And he goes, oh wow, shit, like, who's this kid? He is standing out on stage with two literal movie stars. Is like, I gotta get to know this guy. So he effectively gets him an audition for... So Ken Branagh's like, I'm gonna go back to the stage. He's had kind of a slump, and he decides that he wants to do a production of Chekhov's Ivanov, which is one of his Chekhov's, like, earlier works. It's not one of his super big classics. And he basically is like, I want you to see this Tom Hiddleston guy for one of the sort of, like, secondary protagonist role. He ends up in this, which is how they got to be, like, friends. It's a massive critical success. It kind of restarts Ken Branagh's career. And then they go off and do the Wallander miniseries together, which was on PBS, which was a huge success. And then he gets offered to like the directing gig for Thor, and he's like, Tom, I want you to be in this. Tom Hiddleston promptly puts on like 25 pounds of muscle to audition for Thor.
And Ken's like, no.
Ken's like, I mean, we're gonna see you for a screen test, but actually, I want you to play Loki. And Tom Hiddleston's like, Jesus Christ, I've gone to the gym so much. This is... You
couldn't have told me before I went to the gym?
Before I literally started living in the ceiling of my local gym. But also, and so Ken Branagh's like, no, but I'm gonna convince the studio to take a chance on you, because total unknown. Like, had basically...
Both him and Hemsworth.
You know, and Tom Hiddleston basically had a fair amount of good press on the West End, which does not a film star make. And then Ken Branagh's like, no, I want to make this movie with these two. And it was a huge success, and that's how the story of how you can thank Kenneth Branagh for Tom Hiddleston in those very tight leather pants.
Yeah. Everybody say thanks, Ken.
Also, the worst part of it is that I would like all of you to know I didn't have to look at a single note for that.
No, I knew you just knew that story.
Came out of my brain. So, anyway.
We all have different things we lore dump about, you know?
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I would also like to say, this is just an interesting note, that a lot of the, like... Not everyone, obviously, but many of, like, the early MCU movies were people who either had kind of, like, low-grade careers. Like, Chris Evans had done a lot of, like, romantic comedies and things like that. He hadn't done a lot of, like, big blockbuster stuff. RDJ was coming back from, like, having been in and out of rehab for years and years. He hadn't done a lot of big stuff. I think he had done, like, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but, like...
That was one of the very few things that he had done since kind of making a return to movies.
Correct. And we are eternally grateful for that movie, but, like, he hadn't done a lot in his career, his later career yet, and a lot of people actually wouldn't take a chance on him, if I recall.
Yeah, he'd had some very rough on-set experiences, I think.
Yeah. He'd had a really, really rough career. Up until that point. And then you get, like, Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, who, like, stage star, and then I don't even know what Chris Hemsworth had been doing before Thor, but, like, not a lot. He was still...
I don't know, fucking wrestling dangerous animals in Australia?
Probably. Like, I don't even know if he had really been in anything.
How else do you think he got so big?
I could ask IMDb, I guess. But while I'm doing that, and then they, you know... These movies defined a lot of people's careers, which is, like, just such and, like, these movies in general were kind of a risk where they're like, well, hope this pans out, I guess. And, holy shit, did it. It's kind of cool. Like, sometimes MCU is shit, but sometimes it's like, yeah, this is pretty cool.
Well, and it produced a lot of, I would say, you know, I have again a fair amount of beef with the MCU fandom is so just mind-bogglingly large. Of course, I don't get along with large swaths of it, but it has produced a lot of fabulous fan works. I mean, seriously. And you know, obviously it had the same problems that any large-scale fandom has. It frequently did the female characters dirty. It did the characters of color dirty. It just ended up with some weird fucking shipping politics. But did it produce, like, people produce some extremely high quality fan works, and that have brought me, on the whole, possibly, like, more joy than the films themselves have.
I never read a lot of MCU fic just because so much of it was like shit.
Oh, and tons of it is garbage, but like also like I could pick and choose the stuff that I knew was going to be good or knew was going to appeal to me. Whereas obviously I can't do that with, like, the movie is what it is. The fan fiction, you can get your preferred flavor of it.
So real quick, I researched like Chris Hemsworth's background. He had a lot of like one episode appearances on some early shows.
Okay.
He had a bit part in a thriller movie, and then he was Kirk's dad in Star Trek.
Oh, motherfucker, I forgot about that!
So he was Kirk's dad in Star Trek, and then he was in some, like, fucking weird, like, cop movie, sort of, with Sean Bean.
Oh, God. Really? That's hilarious. Hey,
Yeah.
What if we did a whole episode that was just us watching Sean Bean movies and we just had a
I
death counter?
would love that. Are you kidding me?
I don't even know why I asked. Of course you would.
I love Sean Bean. Anyway, so that's Chris Hemsworth's IMDb.
Wild.
God, how the fuck did Kenneth Branagh find him?
I don't know.
Probably from Star Trek or the Sean Bean movie. It had to be one of those two.
Yeah. God damn, that's just funky. Hey, guess what? I guess we had a lot to say about the Marvel fucking cinematic universe. Also, we just
shocker. We do.
Yeah, God.
Oh God, we didn't talk about costuming. I think that might have to be. I think we should just do like a costuming episode.
Yeah, okay. We can sort of tease that because that was something that we, like, I'm going through.
We got really passionate about.
Yeah, I'm going through our, like, meme-filled planning document, which includes one of we're gonna finish off with that ridiculous Bucky meme. It has one of those great ones where it's the like, no fear blank t-shirt, one fear, and it says no fear giving Sam and Bucky female love interests in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, one fear, and I'm like, God, hard same.
Me, yeah. I posted that meme. Yeah, so but
it's not gonna stop me from shipping the shit out of them. However,
oh yeah, no. They're boyfriends.
They are touching mouths. Oh, also, this other, the sort of alternate title for this planning document is just called, Aw, Whedon, no! So, this is our official, fuck you, Joss Whedon. Why the fuck do you not understand how to write Steve Rogers? Also, consider this, fuck you
Clint
a lot.
Barton also? Like,
Clint
what
Barton, literally just everyone. You
fucked over... In response to, like, the thing I pulled that from, like, Clint Barton deserved so much fucking better. And I know some people really like MCU Clint Barton. He's very different from comics Clint, and it's very disappointing.
People like MCU... Okay, hot take. People like MCU Clint Barton because he's such a non-entity that they can write him however they want, which is legit, but also he's not a fucking character, which is why people liked shipping him with Coulson so much. It was because they could do whatever they wanted. Like, 80% of Clint Coulson is effectively original fiction with the names changed. And I support the shit out of it. Some of it's really good, but people are like, why the fuck were they shipping them? I'm like, because you don't have to pay attention to any kind of established character stuff, because there isn't any.
Yeah, not true for everyone. I did discuss this with someone the other day who I know, like, that's not what they were doing.
Okay, yeah, that was mean. And I don't mean everybody, but I mean
I
a
mean,
lot
that
of
wasn't
it. And
wrong, is the
also,
problem.
like, it's not like I don't have, like, an embarrassingly large number of Clint Coulson fics bookmarked. It's because they're basically original fiction, much like despite having never watched any of the seasons of Supernatural that have Castiel on them, I still read Dean Cass because it's basically original romance with fan casts. Look, I only read the AU stuff. Look, there's a couple of really good ones that are effectively romance novellas where the characters happen to look like whatever their fucking names are. Also, I can't believe I'm about to say this on the podcast, but Misha Collins came into the grocery store where I work like a month ago. That was wild.
I love that because I think you texted us and you were like, I just saw Misha Collins. And we were all like, well, all right.
I've never seen an episode of him in, like, I've never seen an episode of Supernatural that he was in, but I have seen him in real life at, like, 10 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Wild.
Yeah, he walked in and made a beeline for the wine section, and it was right after they had announced that this was going to be the last season of Supernatural, and we were like,
oh, buddy.
Congrats on your freedom, my guy.
I cannot throw stones at my man.
No, not at all.
Oh,
Anyway,
boy.
Costuming. Are we doing a whole costuming episode?
I wouldn't mind doing that at some point, just because I feel like we could say, you and me in particular, could talk a lot about... We could do an entire episode on Steve's costuming.
You know what we should do? Alright, give us a shout out on Twitter if this is something you'd be interested in. As our first Patreon exclusive, we might do a thing.
Oh, we could do like a mini episode.
Yeah, we could do a mini episode on the costuming in the MCU. So if that's something that you would be interested in, or something you would like to see if you already are a Patreon supporter, or something that makes you go, maybe I'm interested in donating to the Infinity Break Patreon.
That would be patreon.com/Infinity Break.
Yeah. Shout out to yeah, exactly. So yeah, just get in touch with us because we want to bring you, we do this podcast because we love yelling at each other about movies, but we wouldn't be making it if you weren't interested in listening to it, and we want to hear what you want to hear from us.
For sure.
And on that note, Loki, baby, come back, we miss you. That has nothing to do with anything I just said, it's just important.
Loki, if you're free on Thursday...
we would like
let
to
me know
on Thursday.
We are also free on Thursday.
Yeah.
Just give us a call. We'll be here.
Yeah, and also, I am Loki of Asgard, and I'm burdened with glorious persons.
a classic meme.
Yeah, jeez.
Burdened with the glorious person.
I have such complicated feelings about the MCU, and I'm kind of glad that we get to let go of some of these characters and, like, have a little bit of a blank slate, and I'm sure that it will have similar ups and downs going forward, but I feel like I'm in a little bit more of a place where, like, it's not gonna jerk me around so much emotionally.
Yeah, for sure. I think I agree. I think I get to let some stuff go.
Yeah.
I've got my own, like, headcanons for what goes on with Steve now, and, like, it's, I get to move on from that. Like, I haven't been building my own personal MCU in my head for the past 10 years. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yondu isn't dead in my like, brain MCU. There's so much shit that I've just kind of, like, nudged around that I'm like, at this point, I don't care.
Yeah,
you can't take this from me.
What's that fucking Nick Fury quote where it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so made a decision, but it's a stupid decision.
So I'm electing to ignore it. Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
That's how I feel about a lot of the MCU, is like, I'm taking the stuff that I like, and I'm leaving the stuff that I don't. Oh, and also it turns out that I don't hate Paul Rudd anymore, so I can actually see Ant-Man. Yeah,
Rock
I
on.
know what was up with that.
Well, you're free now, so.
I'm free. I'm free until fucking Spider-Man Far From Home yanks me back in.
And we go directly to hell because Jake Gyllenhaal is in it. Yeah. Oh my god.
It's coming directly for us like a heat-seeking missile. And on that note, thanks for hanging out with us here on Sneople at the Movies from the Infinity Break Network. Check out infinitybreak.net for more awesome content, and come hit us up on Twitter at at people_snake, or shoot us an email at sneople@themovies@gmail.com. Our amazing music was done by Johnny Ronaldo, who you can find at Johnny Ronaldo on Twitter, and our super snazzy logo was designed by Bethany Luthold. Check her out at B. Leilani Arts on Twitter. And Bethany, we're super sorry for not having credited you specifically in previous episodes. You're amazing. We love you. If you have a subject you want to hear us talk about, a movie you absolutely think we need to see, or a good pitch for our forthcoming script for a real third Captain America movie, come on over and say hello. And also, if you can, please leave us a review on iTunes and share the show with anybody you think would enjoy it. Any way you can support us, as we're still sort of getting off the ground as a podcast, helps us tremendously, and we would really appreciate it. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the movies.